Jeez.
So basketball was on hold for a while, and finally after Christmas I got playing. And by the end of the season I was a starter. Got to start against Carroll and Northern and some of those teams. Yeah.
What'd you study?
Well, at that time Western just had elementary ed. And so I was in elementary ed and taking that, and wasn't too interested in that, but I did it. I was always interested in teaching though. And, so I partied a lot and didn't take it too serious. Remember Mrs. Flory said, you know, Joe, you could really do well if you really put your mind to it. Well, that next summer I went back to West Yellowstone, and my wife, to be, got a job there, working in a teepee lodge, and by the end of the summer we were married. So I went back to Western, a pretty serious student, and got through there, got a 2 years. In those days you could teach after 2 years. And so I got that 2-year teaching certificate and headed out into the teaching field. And then transferred to the university and finished up there because I wanted to major in PE, and so I went to Missoula, majored in phys ed, and graduated there.
What year did you graduate?
Well, I went summers. I took summers. I took 1 full year, and then 3 summers. And I think I finished up I think I'm listed as a 58 graduate or 57, 58 graduate.
Well, it might be in my imagination, but when I was a kid down in Miles City, I thought I saw you across the basketball court. Were you over down there working as a coach?
I was a coach at the state school.
So I didn't imagine it.
No.
That's the first time I saw you then.
Yeah.
Yeah, how long?
I got with the 2-year certificate, I wanted to coach, so I wound up coaching at Plevna. You could teach 7th and 8th grade on your certificate and be the high school coach. So I did that for 2 years and got acquainted with the people at the reform school, and so I came in there, and he wanted to have he thought maybe I'd be a good role model for all the Indian kids who were there. And so I went there, and then he was a year-round job, but he'd let me go off to summer school. And my dad didn't understand that. I hadn't worked there, but I was getting these checks that summer. It didn't seem right to him that I'd get checks that I hadn't worked. But he helped me get through school, and I taught there 2 years.
Was that a good experience?
It was a wonderful experience. Wonderful experience, yeah.
So then where'd you go next?
That's when I got the job at Hamilton. Yeah. Max Blodgett was the coach. Hired coach. We both played in the state tournament that year at Helen. He was at Plains and I was at state school. And his team got first or second. We got fourth. And anyway, he got the job at Hamilton. I didn't apply for it because I was fine where I was at. But I always wanted to teach at Hamilton or Polson or Plains because of the geography, and I don't know, just thought that'd be a nice place. And so Max bolted there during the summer. He left, signed a contract to teach at Hamilton, and about the end of July he resigned and took the job at Corvallis. I don't know why he did that. I don't know. Never did ask him about. He's still alive. I see him. I don't know why he did it. So George Vogt, remember George?
Yep.
He's kind of an old school guy, and so he calls Bill Straw, wanted to know where he could get a 8th grade teacher that could coach. And so Bill Straw said, well, Joe MacDonald. So my phone started ringing. I was over to a state track meet, I think, and I'm driving, all night back. My wife said, Mr. George Vogt was trying to call you from Hamilton. Man, I didn't wait. I didn't even go to bed. 8 o'clock I called him and paged him out of the students. He's going to summer school. Paged him out of the student union and got signed up to go to Hamilton. But they wouldn't release me at state school. Because of Max doing what he did, he wouldn't sign me unless I got a release. So I'd go to the superintendent and get a release. And he didn't want to do it. He'd only do it if he could find someone to take my place. So we'd gone to the state tournament 2 years in a row at state school, and the best kids were back already. They used to say MacDonald had George Yelloweyes break into the same liquor store every year, so we wasn't really true, but a lot of those kids were back.
Yeah.
Some call all my buddies trying to get them to take this job. So when they finally found somebody, wasn't any of my references, but they found somebody, and I was free to go. And that was a great experience at Hamilton.
Yeah, that's when I saw you next, when I was your student, one of your students.
Yeah, your dad was stationed down in Miles City, huh?
Yeah, and we transferred in '58 to Hamilton, and there you
went
were.
to Sacred Heart then, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
That was our big rival.
Yeah, oh yeah, I remember that well. That was nice though. It was a good experience. And of course, you remember Yelloweyes because my dad was arresting him all the time. Well, so you were in Hamilton for a couple of years.
5 years.
5? And I know you coached high school football there, helped coach it. So what happened after you left Hamilton?
Well, I got acquainted. Ron Nord came in as the basketball coach at the university, and I got acquainted with Ron Nord. And at that time, they didn't have a lot of money like they have now. They don't have a lot of money now, but they act like they do. But he was a coach. He didn't have any assistants. And Wally Schwank was the chair of the PE department and the athletic director both.
For what? For where?
At the University of Montana.
Oh, okay.
And he'd put together a program where he'd bring in, took some of his money and he'd bring in graduate students to coach and be in a cohort graduate program. And he used his money that way. So I was the assistant basketball coach and in this cohort graduate program, and Reiner Martins was the wrestling coach, and he was in the cohort program, and there was a guy coaching football and track, and somebody was doing gymnastics, and one was a trainer. So the whole assistant coaching staff were these graduate students. And so I was in that cohort. So I went in and did that, which was a wonderful experience. I got my master's in PE, and I got that coaching experience. I went to Bernie had me go meet with the board to see if I could get a year. I wanted to leave absence because it was just a 1 year thing. And met with the board, and they turned me down. So I was leaving, and Mrs. Names are slippery, but there were two ladies from the lab that they were on to meet with them about fluoridation of teeth, and they're good friends of mine. I told them I got turned down. I guess I went in there and just railed that board. Why wouldn't you do that? You know, just get so much hell. The board voted to give me my leave of absence.
This was the Hamilton School Board?
Hamilton School Board.
Yeah.
What was, she was very active. Doris Milner.
Oh, Doris, yeah.
Doris, and then, what was the doctor there in town, the medical doctor? He had
McLean? McLean.
Miss McLean and Doris.
Oh, boy.
They were waiting out there. When I told them that, they just went in and just gave them hell.
That's great.
So Larry took my place.
Larry Anderson?
Yeah. He took my place, and in that first year that I signed a contract to come back to Hamilton, or I hadn't signed, but I was getting ready to, and I came back down there, and Larry had done really well. It just didn't seem right coming back. So I thought, well, if I'm going to get in college coaching, I better do it right now. So I went back and I started making applications, and I wound up the basketball coach at Northern Montana College.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How long did you do that?
3 years. 3 years. I really liked it, but I got an AD there that wanted my job really bad, I guess, and he wasn't very cooperative, and I just thought it's best I get out. And a couple of friends of mine had gone to high school principalships that had coached in these small colleges, and so I decided to do that. And I applied over here at Ronan, came here as high school principal, and been here ever since.
Yeah, so what year did you finally get back into Ronan as a principal?
I think it was 1968.
And then, so what was the transition to Salish Kootenai College?
Well, when I was finishing up at Havre, they were doing a summer workshop on adult education. And I was there that summer. I moved my family over here. We bought this house, and they're over here, and so I was there around the college by myself, finishing up my job, and I got visiting with this specialist that was there from Utah about adult education material, and I never realized that they had first grade readers, on adult level. It wasn't Jim and Judy and Spot, it was adult material, and I was really interested in that. So when I came over here as high school principal, I went right after that, and there's a fellow at R.Lee that had started a program, and I went down and visited with him, and then he told me about Bill Cunene in the state office, and I contacted Bill, and we could get a grant to teach adult education if we could get a match. So I went down to tribal council and got a match, and we started an adult education program here.
At the high school?
Yeah, the high school. Did it in the evening.